comprehensive plan update, current conditions report. Mr. Can.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Board, I'd like to welcome our group from Teska Associates, Ms. Francie Lawrence and Mr. Michael Blue here in the audience this evening. They're going to go through a summary presentation of the community conditions analysis. This community conditions analysis that's been completed. This has really been the focus of the steering committee, staff, and Teska up till now. So what has been done is we've taken a lot of great information, a lot of great feedback from the residents, a lot of great interactions between the three groups, and also the steering committee has been able to see the entire community conditions report, and so there's been a lot of feedback, a lot of revisions, a lot of great insight, and so what you're seeing this evening is a summary of that report. That report's been finalized, and so this evening we'll let, like I said, Francie and Mike present, and with that I will ask you to move to come on up. I do also want to mention I did reach out to the steering committee who are not on the board just to let them know that we're doing this, and they were all excited to get their hard work out there, so I know everybody's been working very hard at that. So Francie, with that, I'll turn it over to you. And
okay. Thank you, Brent. Can everyone hear me? Yep. Thank you all for having us here tonight. Francie Lawrence with Teska, joined by Michael Blue here. So we're pleased to present kind of an update on where we are in the comprehensive planning process through this presentation. Brent, if you don't mind going to the next.
You let me know when.
Okay. So what is this community conditions analysis? Brent gave a brief description, but essentially this is a snapshot in time, the assessment of Mokena's social, economic, physical, environmental conditions. This basically serves as the baseline of information that's going to inform all of our next steps in this process, the goals, strategies, and ultimate recommendations of the comprehensive plan. We're very grateful to the comprehensive plan committee for their work reviewing the full version of this report, which is I think 90 pages. And so we met back in December with the committee and had a really good discussion going through that entirety of the report. We then collected their feedback and incorporated the committee's comments into the complete version, which will be posted to the project website shortly after this meeting. So what we have tonight is a very brief, don't worry, not 90 pages, a very brief summary of the top level findings that have kind of emerged from this report. Here's just a brief overview of the contents, and we'll get into each of these as we go on, so you can go to the next slide. Thanks. We start with an introduction. This is really just making it very clear that the comprehensive plan that we're updating right now builds upon the village's previous planning efforts, namely the 2002 comprehensive plan and the 2008 downtown stationary plan. So we are very much taking that past work and building from it, updating it, refining it for the future. We also looked at land use and zoning. Obviously, those are kind of the most fundamental pieces of any comprehensive plan. This is a map showing that existing land use designations throughout town. So we know, obviously, Mokena is primarily a residential community with mostly single-family homes. That's the yellow color here. We have commercial nodes that are along Wolf Road, 191st, LaGrange, and Route 30, primarily. Your industrial uses are kind of concentrated in that eastern section of town. You have really ample, wonderful open spaces that are dispersed throughout the village and the Forest Preserve and other parks. And then finding is that Mokena's zoning generally aligns with and matches your existing land uses. We took a look at community demographics and a mini market study of sorts. So findings from that, we see that there's a wide range of retail here, restaurants, home improvement, groceries, that serves both local residents of Mokena, and you're drawing from the surrounding communities. Front Street, which has been a major topic of discussion for the community throughout this process, has seen limited activity in recent years, and that's likely the result of many factors, such as the fact that the railroad tracks bisect the area, challenges related to visibility, access, older properties, multiple property owners. Industrial vacancies have steadily decreased over the past 5 years, so seeing increasing demand there. The office market continues to improve gradually, Vacancies are slowly declining, but demand, as we know everywhere, demand for office has decreased since the pandemic. The housing market here is very strong, with a good mix of different housing types and low vacancy rates, higher property values. And then single-family homes do dominate Mokena, though there have been new townhome developments in recent years that kind of provide options for residents at different life stages. Transportation, it's always important to understand roadway jurisdictions, so any transportation recommendations we make will likely require coordination with some outside entities, so IDOT or Will County. We looked at Metra parking lot usage data and Metra ridership data. Unfortunately, that hasn't been updated since the pandemic, but that's estimated to be lower than it was pre-pandemic due to that remote work nature. There are gaps in the sidewalk network that can impact connectivity and accessibility for pedestrians. That's what's shown on this map here. And we looked at traffic crash data from the police department and found that crashes have increased over the past 5 years. And those crashes that cause personal injury happen more frequently on the local streets and in subdivisions, so that's
That scares me. What do you think, both of you, Mike, what do you think causes that? There's gotta be something that caused it. I'm just,
We'll defer to the chief.
Yeah, I was
of
just
police.
gonna say.
Let me tell the chief his business right there. But I would tell you, yeah, no, when we generally see this, I mean, it's got a lot to do with speeding and traffic on local streets. You know, the other thing about it is that the roads in town are significant arterial roadways too. So that much traffic, that much coming and going, that many points for potential conflict, all the turns. You know, that's part of the way it is. This isn't really much different than we see in other towns, so
okay,
I defer.
what do you think, chief?
It's people disobeying the laws that we have. Blowing through stop signs, driving too fast, improper turns. You write over 300 tickets a month and it's not stopping the problem.
Jesus, that's just amazing to me. Okay, all right, thank you.
We looked at utilities and infrastructure, acknowledging Lake Michigan water is available across Mokena, which was a big plus, purchased from the Chicago Water Department, and reviewed the capital improvement program for this fiscal year. In terms of environment, this map shows flood hazards. So we know that the wetlands in Mokena are primarily concentrated in Hickory Creek Forest Preserve, and that there's 2 regulatory floodways. That's the blue area that you see on this map. In northwest Mokena and in the south along Hickory Creek, and your tree canopy, which provides shade and benefits for air quality, stormwater management, is actually higher than the Will County share, which is good. Community facilities and
Now,
programs.
that's pretty impressive, that tree canopy thing,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Now, does that take in the forest preserve? Or
Yes,
just the canopy within the village of
I believe it would include the forest preserves
Okay.
trees. Mm-hmm.
all right, thank you.
Another impressive stat is your acres of parkland per 1,000 residents is 13.1, which is higher than the national average of 10.6. And that resonates with what we've heard from the community about parks and open space being a major asset that they love about living here.
Again, does that take in the forest preserve?
I believe it would,
Okay.
yes. That comes from the national, it's a national agency that
Okay,
does those
thank you.
ratings. We looked at the school district's library, of course, the police department's recent new building that we're excited to have our workshop in April. Fire protection districts, the wide variety of Mokena events that are really cherished by residents, and reviewed the downtown property enhancement assistance program that exists from the village. When we as planners are thinking about community character and identity, we tend to kind of frame that in these 5 character elements, which are paths, edges, districts, nodes, and landmarks. So that's a map that requires probably zooming in and looking at further, but it's just kind of how we define the urban design of Mokena, the framework that makes up the different pieces of the community and how residents and people interact with the community. So we analyzed that, and there's more detail on that in the report. And then engagement is a huge part, as you've heard us mention many times, I think, as part of this plan. So to update everyone on where we're at there, we have the plan website that Brent mentioned, planmokena.org. As of last week when we shared this presentation, there's been 1,300 website visitors and over 3,300 website views. So that's a really impressive showing for the community. And on our online comment map, which is pictured here, we have nearly 200 comments shared. So those are different ideas from people. That's what's littering that whole map with different colored markers. So I encourage everyone to go, you can click on any one of those and view the comment and kind of understand what people are thinking about. In addition to those online tools, we have printed project cards that we've distributed across the town with the website listed to encourage people to go to that website and share and engage, sign up for the emails that we send out with project updates. We've also held 2 pop-up events. We were at Food Trucks on Front Street in late summer, and then we were at the Halloween Hollow event held by the Park District. So we engaged with dozens of residents at both of those and had a kind of analog version of this map on a board, and people added things to the map, and we had conversations and encouraged people to visit the website and stay engaged in the process. We also conducted interviews with village board members, and then we had a series of stakeholder interviews and focus groups with residents and business owners and community partners in adjacent taxing jurisdictions, and had really interesting conversations with those groups. From all of that that's happened to date, there's there's emerged some really consistent key themes. It's hard to summarize all of that in a brief presentation, but these are kind of what's risen to the top. So activating Front Street is something we've heard time and time again, a desire for. Increasing walkability and bikeability, and the ability to both walk and bike in Mokena to get to different destinations locally. The desire for a community destination or gathering space. The idea about being proactive with economic development to attract the type of businesses that people desire here. Balanced growth, including continuing to have that variety of housing options for different life stages, folks wanting to downsize or starter homes for younger families. Attracting new businesses and recreation and entertainment to Mokena, so people don't have to leave town to go seek out entertainment. Defining kind of a cohesive identity for the town here. And preserving all the great things that everyone loves and building on those things that we have are things that we heard a lot of. In terms of next steps, again, we're very excited for our community workshop that's coming up April 22nd. We just finalized that date, so we're working on developing the communication and marketing materials for that we'll be sharing very widely with community partners, all the village communications, and we'll be promoting that on social media as well, and that's 5:30 to 7:30 at the police station. And from there, we'll be taking that community input. This is going to be a visioning workshop, big ideas, and then from there, we'll be taking all that community input and drafting the first part of the plan, which is a vision and the goals and objectives. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I just have I want to say, Francie and Michael, working with you the last few months, it's been a pleasure. You guys are very professional. A lot of information being brought, and looking forward to the future for your recommendations. Thank you.
Is that gonna be enough room at the police station to have something like this? This is gonna be open to the community. And I would hope that more than 60 people come out to look this over. So what do you think, Brent? Is that gonna be enough room?
I do, because it's more of an open house format, so
Oh,
it's,
that's right, okay,
That's what I
good.
was just gonna
Yeah.
ask.
So
I
we
was
can
gonna
have,
ask,
if
is
we,
it a
they
sit
have
down
to,
or is
we
it
can
out?
go out into the lobby and, all right, fine, let's see what happens to the first one.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be important that the residents have input on this.
Absolutely.
What's the
Yeah, well,
feedback you're getting from the residents so far?
it's really what we summarized in those themes that I just mentioned, those key themes, and that's it's
Not that stuff,
Oh.
but what's their feelings about, the way things are going, what they see in town, open spaces and things like that?
very, very positive generally.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anybody else have any questions?
Will there be more than one then, besides April 22nd?
I think so, there'll be more than one, correct?
That's our first community workshop or open house. later on, once we're at the recommendations, once we have those ready to share, there's a second. And so that's the second opportunity for really wide community participation.
Okay.
Okay, so basically what tonight is, to show us and then get everything set. What we're seeing tonight is what's gonna go on over at the police station.
It's gonna be more detailed.
Right, in more detail, but
And-
it's gonna be, what I'm talking about is, the residents will have a chance to look at it,
Mhm.
and they'll have a chance, their input will mean something. Okay, good.
Yes,
That's what I
absolutely.
wanted to know.
We'll have, just to echo what Brent said, it will be open house style, so we won't have a formal presentation or seated, any audience style seating. It's going to be a series of interactive stations,
Good,
kind of
okay.
around the room. We'll have staff there to answer questions and engage in activities.
And that is a good location, good deal. So, yes,
Yes, I've raised this question before. A lot of these ideas that come on the website are housekeeping issues. Town Line Road, people want a sign that says, road closed ahead, okay? I mean, they're complaining about 597 didn't clean up the street afterwards. I mean, a lot of them seem to be issues that we don't need you to address it. I mean, there's a lot of, one of the concerns, there are a lot of concerns of people that little things aren't being done. Do you get that same, I mean, we should be trying to clean up these little problems, and not put it into the plan. And we respond to people's complaints quicker and faster. Do you see what I'm saying when you look at
I'll answer that.
what some of
Jimmy,
these? Yeah.
Jimmy, they're bringing us a big picture, okay, from 60,000 feet. That's what they're doing on that committee. They're gonna tell us what we need to do. You're talking about the little incidental things that we as a village should take care of,
Right, exactly.
okay? If you see that stuff, then bring it to the attention like you usually do. But that's not their job as a putting our comprehensive plan together.
I understand that, but I'm just saying is that, one of the recommendations would be that a lot of these things are things that the village needs to jump on, to make people have little things that aren't big, but the village needs to attention. You take care of the little things and the big things, are gonna take care of themselves.
Yes, sir, you had a question?
No, I was just making sure David got a chance to speak.
Oh, okay.
Rob has one.
Rob, please.
Thank you, Mayor. No, just wanted to also thank Francie and Michael for all your work on this project and for the presentation tonight. Super excited this process is happening and all the feedback is coming in. And, two comments from the short version here is with the number of traffic crashes increasing. I think in the longer version of this, we have identified the top intersections.
That's right.
So that can be shared.
Mhm.
Secondly, with the tree canopies, us being above average, above the rest of the county, doesn't really come as a surprise, not because of the forest preserve, but I believe our village, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, I know the answer's right.
So Jen, don't say
You don't
anything.
answer.
Jen,
You don't
don't say
answer.
anything.
Yeah.
And I said, know the answer.
The village has been very intentional on its tree planting over the past several decades, and Mr. Zoner and staff today continue to focus on tree planting as part of our quality of life here. So I think it's kudos to the village, and I believe we are a tree city,
Yes,
as
we
Ron
are.
says,
Yes, we are.
so. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.